Hello. Um, Finally getting back to doing a third video here. Um, as I had mentioned in the previous videos, the old Jeep doesn't have air conditioning, but I wanted to put air conditioning in it. So I wanted to let you know where we're at on that. It's a pretty windy day, and hopefully this new microphone I got will muffle some of that. And the sunglasses, I'm looking right into the sun almost, so not trying to be cool. But anyway, here we go. Okay. Well, essentially, the first problem was finding a place to mount the compressor. Um, the nearest I could tell, it would have to go down here somewhere under the power steering pump, which would be difficult anyway, but if I can find brackets, we could make that work. But even then, this hose would probably have to be redone. But anyway, I went looking for brackets in junkyards and Craigslist for several months, and I just couldn't find any. The engines that these vehicles typically came in, the Pontiac Sunbird, Chevy Monzas, whatever the Buick Oldsmobile version would have been, those cars are just basically gone. They were probably crushed out 15, 20 years ago, if not more. So the brackets are just unattainable. I was thinking about trying to make brackets, but that wasn't something that I wanted to do. But so anyway, the next part here is what we had to do after that. So while I was considering what to do, as far as the AC compressor, researching brackets if they're available anywhere, I came across something called the electric AC kits. Now, prior to this, I did know that there was such a thing as electric AC because when Toyota came out with the Prius, they had to come up with a way for the air conditioning to continue working while the gas engine was not running and it was in electric mode. So what they did is they used an electric AC compressor that would, continue to function while the vehicle, was in electric mode. I don't know if they invented it, but that's what they used. So I did some more research and I found these kits you can buy. Come with condenser, hoses, wiring, controller for the compressor, and even ones with the under dash unit. So this seemed like the way to go. In researching this option, I learned that the system could require as much as 75 amps to work. I ordered a 100 amp alternator from Amazon and upgraded the cables and the battery cables, battery cables and the charge cables to 4 gauge and 2 gauge. I have a little video I put together right when I first put those cables together, but so here you go. Okay, so this is the upgraded charging system. We got the new ProMaster 100 amp alternator. Then we got the upgraded battery cables, 6 gauge on the positive negative battery, 4 gauge on the alternator charging and ground strap. I had to buy these cables bulk and the ends separately and then install the ends, which meant trimming the insulation, and then of course you get the little there it is, the little the crimper, and since you put the in there and then you smack it. But anyway, I got the ends on there. There's the battery, positive, negative. So anyway, this will be the upgraded charging system, so we'll get that on there and see if hopefully it can handle the power needs. So this is what the cables look like on the vehicle. There again, the 2 gauge, 4 gauge, and other wires. I made this disconnection here so I could hook several items to it. And then there's the 100 amp alternator on the vehicle. And I wrote 100 amp on there so anybody else would know that it is 100 amp. But anyway, that's the cables installed. So I proceeded to order a kit from Amazon with everything except the under dash unit, because I planned on using the used unit that I had already mounted under the dash, as you can see in the prior video. I wasn't sure where to go, but I found an independent shop that had an air conditioning guy that said he had been doing it for 40 plus years. So I went ahead and mounted the compressor and the condenser in the vehicle so as to have at least some of it done. All he would have to do is hopefully just wire it and plumb it and go from there. I then proceeded to drop off the Jeep the first week of June. But unfortunately, this is where everything started to go south or go wrong. And I was also thinking, it'd probably take a week, maybe 3 weeks. And was I sadly mistaken? Okay, so now the Jeep's at the shop. And in the first 3 weeks of it being there, which I was hoping to be done, I get a call saying, oh, well, the existing used under dash unit that was in there, sorry, we can't get the expansion valve off, so we're going to have to get a new under dash unit. Well, I'm kind of skipping to the end here to some degree, but this is, of course, is the unit that I had in there. And the expansion valve, of course, I was able to get it off without damaging it, without damaging the unit. But nonetheless, they said they had to have a new one. So, and this was after being there 3 weeks. Several more weeks went by, and I was eventually contacted, and they said the compressor that came with the kit was only running at 1,000 RPMs, and therefore the unit was barely cooling, and they needed another compressor. They located one that ran at about 1,500 RPMs, and they said that's what they need. So I okayed that also. Around the last week of August, I was advised the AC was fully hooked up and was functioning and was going about as good as it was gonna. Moving to the other side here, I think part of the reason they probably didn't want to use this unit is the connections here are on the driver's side, which I admit would be more difficult. Plus, they probably just wanted to use a new unit, but I wish they had told me that. But on the new unit, as you can see, all the connections are on the passenger side, which is much better. This actually has a side vent that I blocked off because nobody's ever on the passenger side and wanted more of the air to go out that way. But anyway, but unfortunately, the cooling is not the greatest. It's for out here in the Arizona sun, where it gets 97 to 107 pretty easily. But anyway, here it is. Here's the electric compressor mounted on the inner fender well, and it does need a control unit. I believe it probably needs one matched to the compressor. And then, of course, there's the cable, the high 75 amp cables, And here in the front, there's a condenser. So that's basically all of it. Unfortunately, though, like I say, it just doesn't cool very well. I'm not sure what it's lacking. I don't know. It might be the underdash unit here. I should have asked for specifications on it when I picked it up, but I didn't. Later on, I went looking through Amazon, and I can find this particular air conditioner look, for lack of a better way to put it, 12 times, but I can't. But they got BTU ratings anywhere as low as 350 and as much as 16,000. I don't know which one that is, but the cooling is pretty minimal. A couple things I did do to try and get a little more performance out of it is trying to eliminate air loss. So I put these sills in because there was probably the better part of a half-inch gap there straight to the outside. Another thing I did was I put new shift boots because both of them had tears in them. So they were letting air in from under the tunnel. Plus making sure the doors close good. Another thing you might have noticed is we got a nozzle and a nozzle. Because the condenser essentially is small, very small. It's only maybe a foot wide and maybe about 20 inches tall. So I don't think it's very efficient. So what I did is these are essentially mister nozzles. It's part of a kit that Walmart sells to be a standalone system where you don't need to hook a garden hose to it. It's got a tank, a little water pump, and then hoses that push the water to misters. The kit came with like 5 of them, but I've only got 2 there. So you're probably laughing, what in the world is he doing? But it does help. It brings, I get an easily another 10 degrees cooler with, there's the tank, there's the little motor. I easily get another 10 degrees. I've gotten as much as low during the summer, I guess I should say, as low as 56 coming out of the vents. But even at 56, it's not really enough volume. And lastly, of course, you would think that not having a belt-driven AC compressor would be an advantage. It would put less load on the engine. Well, when the AC is running and that compressor is pulling as much as 75 amps, the engine slows down. I lose a good 200 RPMs. So any advantage there was from not having a belt-driven compressor, you're losing in the alternator drag, being drugged down by the high amperage. So in reality, there really is no advantage to the AC in that respect. So not this year, but maybe 26 or something, I'm going to consult with a different AC company and see if what they think would help it work a little better. The unit under the dash or bigger condenser, or I don't know what. But anyway, that's my electric AC adventure. So go from there. Take it easy. Like, subscribe.